Hi everyone, my name is Sarah if you have not taken class with me before, and we are going to do a Vinyasa flow class today. So if you have your mat, grab that. If you have blocks, grab those as well, and then meet me on the mat. We will start with a little beginning sort of breathing meditation, and then we will go right into our flow, and we will end with Shavasana and some more breathing, and that's about it. So grab anything that you need, any props that you want, blankets if you want that, especially for the end, and we are ready to go. So just find a comfortable seat on your mat to begin with. Good. Just making your way into a nice settled position. And then you can lower the gaze or close the eyes and begin to deepen the breath. Taking nice long inhales in through your nose and equally long exhales back out through your nose. Bringing that awareness inward, feeling the breath, feeling the lungs and ribs expand on the inhale, and feeling them deflate and compress on the exhale. Feeling the crown of your head reaching tall towards the ceiling. And your seat grounding down. Good. My husband is yelling at the dog right now, so try to ignore that if you can hear it. And today, even though it is rainy and gross and windy outside, we're going to be thinking about the sun, right? Because no matter what, even on miserable rainy days, the sun is always out. Every day the sun is out. And the most important thing is that in each morning, the sun rises and a new day starts, and each night the sun sets and lets go. So we have an opportunity to start fresh every single day. Right? So being able to use that to our advantage. So if we're having the worst day ever, we know it's going to end, right? The sun is going to set, it's going to be over, a new day will start. Maybe we're having the greatest day ever, right? Even the greatest day is going to come to an end, and a new one will begin the next day, right? I was listening to Broadway show tunes today while I was walking, and Tomorrow came on from Annie, which is where I got this theme from today, right? The sun will come out tomorrow, right? It's universal. It is the one thing you can guarantee will always happen. Every day, the sun will come out, whether you can see it or not. And every night, the sun will set. So using that, it keeps us grounded, right? Knowing that it's consistently there and something to look forward to. Right? Maybe the sun rising or the sun setting. Take one more deep inhale and a long exhale. Good. Inhale those arms up overhead, connecting that breath to that movement. Exhale to heart center. One more time. Inhale. Exhale to heart center. Inhale those arms up. And then dropping one hand to the ground, the other arm is going to reach up and over. Really pushing into that planted hand so that that opposite hip is working its way towards the mat. Feeling all the way from your fingertips to your hips, stretching here. Keeping those shoulders in line. Good. Inhale up to center. Exhale down to the other side. All right, so I'm pushing into that hand, really increasing that stretch up that whole side body. Keeping those shoulders relaxed away from your ears. This is that because it is easy to pull your shoulders up. You want them relaxed down. And inhale back to center. Good. Bring the shoulders both up towards the ears. Exhale them down. One more time. Rolling those shoulders. And exhale. Perfect. Bring your hands to the floor and make your way into a tabletop position here. Knees under hips, wrists under your shoulders. And just settle here. I'm going to take my socks off so I don't slip on my mat. My feet were cold earlier, so there we go. And we're going to take a couple of cat-cows here. So really connecting our breath and our movements. So on our inhale, we're going to drop our belly, lift our gaze and our tail. And on our exhale, we're going to round that spine, dropping the head and neck. Inhale. Heart shines up. Exhale to round. Good. Again, inhale, warming up our spine, pushing into the tops of those feet. Exhale. Taking 2 more of these on your own breath here. Inhaling and exhaling. Warming up your spine. Getting your body ready for the rest of our practice. Right? And body-wise, we're really going to focus on opening our hips today. So we really want to be nice and warmed up so we can get those hips really working today. When you are done coming back to neutral, we're going to walk our hands about 1 handprint forward so that our wrists are a little forward from our shoulders. Curl those toes, and we're going to reach the hips up and back, coming to our first down dog. So creating that nice long line, the head and neck are hanging down heavy. Your hips are reaching up, using your fingers, the finger pads, your palms, your whole hand to push into those so those hips rise up. Good. And you can walk out your feet here, bending one knee and then the other. Taking those little movements that help you to settle into this pose. Nice job. Just take 2 more rounds of breath. At the bottom of your exhale, bend those knees, look forward, and just walk your feet to meet your hands at the top of your mat. Good. And then separate your feet about hips width apart, and we're going to hang here in our ragdoll pose. Letting that head and neck hang heavy again. You can have as much bend in those knees as you would like. You just want your hips higher than your heart. Your arms can hang down. You can grab opposite elbows. You can sway side to side. Whatever you want here. Good. Just 2 more breaths. Dropping those hands. Heel toe those feet back together. And bring your hands to your shins, coming to a flat back. I'll do that sideways so you can see. Hands come to shins, flat back. The crown of your head reaches forward while your tail reaches back. So you're a nice flat line here. Good. 1 more round of breath. And exhale to fold. And then slowly rolling up to stand. Vertebra by vertebra. Head and neck coming up last. to stand in our mountain pose. So planting our feet, hands are strong and active. The crown of our head is reaching up towards the ceiling. Shoulders are relaxed down the spine, down your back. Your spine is long. Knees are pulled in and up so your legs are working. So many of our poses are built off of this one pose. Good. Take 2 more rounds of breath. You should feel all your muscles here, your belly button pulled in. Good. Inhale, arms come up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bring those hands to those shins flat back. And on our exhale, plant your palms and step back to a plank pose. Right, nice long line here. Good, rock to your toes and rock back. Holding our plank, belly button pulled in and up. And exhale back to our down dog. Good, one more time. Roll to plank. And then back to down dog. Lift that right foot towards the ceiling. And on our exhale, we're going to step our right foot between our hands, coming to a low runner's lunge here. This is a good place to use your blocks if you have them and you would like to use them. So planting the blocks around that front foot. Good. It just brings the floor just a little bit closer. So then you're not really dumping that whole upper body into that top leg. You're really active. Every part of your body is active. And we're going to plant that left hand down on our block. We're going to reach our right arm up. Nice twist. Stacking the shoulders, keeping those hips square. And exhale down. Nice job. If you have those blocks, you can move them, plant the palms, and step back to that down dog. Good. Roll to that plank. This time, lower your knees and uncurl the toes. And we're going to lower all the way down, keeping those elbows nice and in towards the ribs. Good. Pushing into the tops of the feet. We're going to lift our head and our chest up, coming to baby cobra. Nice. Squeezing those shoulder blades together. And exhale down. One more time. Inhale up to that baby cobra. This time, maybe lift those hands, really using those back muscles. And exhale down. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale to that down dog. Nice job. This time, lift that left heel and step the left foot between your hands, coming to that low runner's lunge. Good, and then grab those blocks. Nice work. Letting those hips settle here for a minute. You can always walk that left foot out towards the left a little bit if balance seems to be a difficulty here. And then planting that right hand on the floor of the block. Left arm reaches up. Nice twist here. Hands are strong and active. Inhales, lengthen. Exhales, twist. And exhale down. Moving our blocks. And again, planting those palms. And stepping back to our down dog. Nice job. Lowering to our tabletop. Bring your big toes together. Knees are going to come to the outsides of your mat. Sinking the hips back and making your way into a child's pose. So resting the arms down, The forehead can rest on the mat. You can always rest your head on a block if that is more comfortable. Whatever's comfortable here, just finding some stillness, taking deep breaths. And coming back to that tabletop. Good. We are going to reach our left arm forward and our right foot back. Very good. Nice flat surface here. Flexing that foot, reaching that left hand. And you can stay right here, or if you would like, you can bend that right knee and reach back with your left hand and stretch that quad. Gently release and come back to that tabletop. And just move those hips side to side for a moment. Good, we're going to take the other side. Right hand forward, left foot reaches back. Good. Pulling that belly button in and up so those abs and core is active. And you can stay right here. You can reach back for that foot. And stretch that quad. Gently release. And again, move those hips side to side. Curling those toes and making our way back to that down dog. Lifting up those hips. Good. We're going to step our right foot between our hands, coming to that low lunge first. When your feet feel stable and rooted, we're going to root to rise, coming to our high lunge. I need an elastic. My hair's in the face. Good. Sinking those hips down here, keeping both hips square. That back heel is off the ground. Right knee is bent. Arms can come up, or you can always keep them at your hips. And straighten into that front knee just for a moment. Really lengthen that front leg. And exhale back down. Good. Arms reach up. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to open to our warrior two. So that front foot stays pointing forward, but our hips are now going to open. And our back foot is now parallel with the front and back of the mat. Arms can reach out in opposite directions. Gaze can go over those front fingers. And then feeling that front thigh, right? So even though we are in our warrior two here, this is still a hip opener because this front thigh is externally rotating. So you should be able to feel that in not just your inner thigh, but also in that hip. And flip that front palm, reach up and reverse. Your warrior. Good. And take your left hand and reach it across your body. And come back to that warrior two. Straightening, reverse your triangle. All right, really making some space in that hip here. And back to warrior two. Good, and just cartwheel those hands to the mat, coming to that low lunge, and step back to our down dog. Nice work. And you can skip the down dog at any time and go into a child's pose. Feel free. Now let's take the other side. Left foot is going to step between those hands. first coming to that low lunge, right? I like to separate my feet so they're hips width apart. Makes it a little easier to root down and rise up to our high lunge. And again, arms can come up or they can come right to your hips. Left knee bending about 90 degrees, right? That right hip is facing forward. Nice job. Really feeling our hip flexors here. And then straighten into that front knee. Just give a little space to that left hip. And sink back down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, open to that warrior two. So you might need to widen your stance, right? You want to take up lots of space. Perfect. So now your hips are opening. That left hip is opening. And your front heel is about in line with the middle of your back foot. That's about your lineup from front to back. Sinking down here. Flipping that front palm, reaching up and reversing. Good. Right arm comes across the body. Coming back to warrior two, straightening that front knee and reversing our triangle. And back to warrior two. Nice work. Cartwheeling those hands to the mat, framing that front foot, and stepping back to our down dog. Nice. And on the bottom of your exhale, walk your feet to meet your hands at the top of your mat, coming to a forward fold. And bring those big toes together. We're going to sink our hips down and make our way right into our chair pose. So keeping those hips nice and light. You don't want to pop your bum out or be too far forward. So just like you're sitting in a chair, okay? So you really want to feel it. I can feel this in my calves a lot here, as well as your quads, right? So imagine you have something that you're holding right here that has to stay level, right? You don't want to move too far forward and spill whatever's in your bucket here. Arms can come up, or they can always cactus out. Really that feeling that crown of that head reaching up like you have a little string. Someone's pulling you up by a string. The top of your body, but the lower part of your body sinking down. One more round of breath. And exhale to fold. Good. Slowly rolling to stand. Inhale the arms up overhead. Maybe take a little back bend here. Back. Hands come to heart center. We're going to first step our left foot back, coming into our warrior one. So we're going to step our left foot back. We want to keep that left heel planted, and our toes are pointing to about 10 o'clock. So your stance might seem a little shorter than either the high lunge or even your warrior two. And that's okay, because both hips are working towards the front. Hands come to hips, then bring your hands behind you if that's accessible, and interlace your fingers. Then inhale to really open that chest up. Coming back up, releasing the hands. Arms come up. Inhale, exhale to that warrior two. Nice job. And again, just taking your time to really set up this pose. Perfect. And we're going to make our way into a side angle. So we're going to reach our upper body forward, and that right arm is going to come to that right thigh, and that left arm is going to reach up. So you're really making a nice straight line from the tops of those fingers all the way down to your hips. Very good. You can always reach that left arm overhead, but you can bring it behind you, right? And reach for that right hip for a half bind. And then that right arm can stay resting, or it can reach down the inside of that right thigh. And then inhale to reverse that triangle. And back to stand. Nice job, warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Left arm reaches up. And from here, we're going to take that back heel up off the mat, coming to that high lunge again. Nice job. Grabbing those blocks, we're going to place them around that front foot. And then straighten into that front knee. Coming to a pyramid. Keeping that back nice and long. Gaze at the front of the mat or at your toes so your neck is long, not all crunched up. And you're definitely not falling down, right? So you're keeping nice and long and straight and everything's working. Good. We're going to plant our hand on our block on the inside of that right foot. You can move the other block. Your right hand's going to come to your lower back and just stack those shoulders. We're coming to a twisting triangle. So keeping that hand is here to keep that sacrum nice and flat. If you feel like your sacrum's nice and flat, you may reach that arm up. Exhaling down. Good. Then we're going to drop that back knee. Very good. Dropping that back knee. And then just walk those toes back a little so that your knee is further back than those hips. And then I like my blocks here, so you can use the blocks. Or you can bring your hands up to that front thigh. Good. Maybe your arms come up overhead, interlacing just the thumbs. And exhale the hands down, and then walking those hands back with or without the blocks. Straightening into that front knee, coming to our half split. Nice. Coming back forward. And then you can use your blocks here. I like to use my blocks here and just bring that right foot back. So you're in a tabletop, but you have those blocks. You're a little bit higher up. And then just sinking back onto those heels like we're coming into a child's pose, but keeping our arms on our blocks. So just reaching forward. Your head does not have to come all the way down to the mat. It can, if that is comfortable. But you can keep your head in line with the arms and just reach forward. Just stretching those arms and those shoulders. Coming back up. We're going to curl those toes. We're going to make our way into broken toe pose. We're not going to stay here too long because it's not comfortable. But, so we're going to come back. We're going to sink our hips towards our heels, keeping those toes curled under. Just bring those hands to the thighs and just take a couple deep breaths here. Just 2 more deep breaths. Good. And coming forward, uncurling those toes, maybe rolling those ankles for a moment. Perfect. Dropping the hands, coming to that tabletop, curling the toes back, coming to our down dog. Nice, and then just walking those hands. Just kidding, walking those feet to meet the hands. Coming to our flat back on our inhale. Exhale to fold. And then making our way back into that chair pose. So sinking the hips, arms coming up, or cactus out. Or you can always bring your hips right, your hands right to your hips. Right, so wherever your hands are, your body's doing the same thing. So your hips are sinking down while the crown of your head feels like it's being pulled up. So you're really lengthening the spine while shortening that lower body. Last round of breath. Exhale to fold. Good. And then slowly roll to stand. Taking that sequence on the other side. So we're going to step our right foot back this time. And again, planting that right heel. So our toes are pointing to about 2 o'clock. So finding your own way into this pose, setting up here. Both of your hips are working towards squaring to the front, bending that front knee. Arms can go up, stay at the hips, they can cactus, whatever you want. I'm going to interlace my fingers and reach my arms up over my head here. Stretching my hands a little bit, but also letting my shoulders drop down a little. It sinks me into this pose just a little bit deeper. And release. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to that warrior 2. That was not very graceful, but it doesn't have to be. Just making your way into that pose. Flipping that front palm to reverse your warrior. Coming back to stand. And we'll make our way into our side angle. So our upper body reaches forward. Comes down on that left thigh. Right arm reaches up. Good. And then one variation. You can extend your side angle here. You can reach that hand around for your other hip. And then that left arm can reach down if you would like. Whatever variation you want here. Inhale to reverse, straightening that front leg. Reverse your triangle. Good. Arm reaches out. And from here, we're going to come into that high lunge again. Right? Making our way into that high lunge. Nice job. Grabbing those blocks and placing them around that front foot. And straightening into that front knee, coming to our pyramid. That back heel can plant down like your leg is in Warrior 1. Or you can keep the heel up. I feel like it gives me a little bit more space when I'm on my toe. But it's completely up to you. Planting that right hand down on the block on the inside of that left foot. We're going to reach our left arm up. Twisting triangle. But hand can start on your lower back. And then if you're comfortable, you can reach that arm up. And reaching down, dropping that back knee. And just walking that knee back so it's further. It's not directly under your hip. And again, you can keep your hands right on the blocks here. Or you may bring your hands up to that front thigh. And maybe your arms come up. Interlace those thumbs the opposite direction. Exhale the hands down and walk it back to our half split on our other side. Nice job. And walk it forward, pressing into those, sinking back, and again, sinking into a modified child's pose here. If you do not like this, you can just go to a traditional child's pose. And coming back up, and we're going to take that broken toe pose just one more time. Good, really separating our toes. Hands can come to heart center. 2 more rounds of breath. Nice work. Uncurl those toes. Maybe roll out those ankles. Good, coming back to that tabletop. We're going to push into the tops of our feet and lift our knees off of the ground. So just lifting those knees. Good, really pulling that belly button in. Step that right foot back and then the left coming to a plank. And push back to our down dog. And either step or walk to the top of your mat. And roll to stand. Nice work. We're going to take a standing balance here. So rooting in to one leg here. Just going to root into that left leg. Lift your right knee. And then we're going to cross it right above that knee, creating like a figure 4 here. Good. Flexing that right heel to protect that knee. Hands can come to heart center. And you can stay right here. Or to take that deeper and really work that hip, you can sink down like you're sitting in a chair. Good. Finding one point of focus. Feeling all 4 corners of the foot rooting into the ground. And place that foot down. Inhale the hands up. Back bend. And exhale to heart. Good. And taking the other side. So if you want to root into that right foot, you can lift that left knee. Cross it above that knee. Flexing that left foot. And staying here. You can stay here. This is still a hip opener. Or you can sink down a little deeper. Don't forget to breathe. Last round of breath. Exhale. And make your way out. And just let it all go. Nice work. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. From here, plant your palms and step back to that plank. Good. We're going to bring our right knee into our chest for a core plank. And then bring it back out. And now bring that right knee to the right elbow. Good. And back down. And one more time, right knee, right elbow. And this time, step the foot to the outside of that right hand. Yes, so that right foot, big toe is about even with your pinky of your right hand. And then walk those left toes back and sink that left knee down. Coming into our lizard lunge. So there are a lot of variations here. This right here is one. You can stay right here on the hands. You can bring your blocks in and you can lift up the upper body and sink into those hips. Or you can go down to your elbows, either on the blocks or on the floor. It really just depends on what your body feels like doing today. They all have benefits, and there is no better than the other. So it's not like, oh, you're like a slacker if you stay up on the blocks. No, because you are sinking into that left hip flexor a little more up here. And that is fine. And then if you would like, you can also roll to the outside slightly of that right foot, opening that right hip a little more. Nice work. And if you rolled out, coming back in, coming back to that knee, and then walking that right foot between the hands, coming to that low lunge, uncurling that toe. Nice. And we're going to take our blocks, if we have them, we're going to place them right around that right foot, and we're going to make our way to a standing split. So all of that weight's coming into that right foot, and we're going to lift that left leg up. So it might take a couple hops to get there, and that's okay. And our torso's coming down towards that right leg. Good. Keeping those hips nice and square. You can grab onto that ankle instead of blocks if you would like to. And step that left foot to meet the right at the top of your mat. Heel to those feet just slightly apart. And we're going to come into our malasana, which is our squat pose. So sinking those hips down, coming into our squat pose. You want your heels planted. So if your heels are coming up, you can just sit on a block. It's totally fine. Still getting the same benefit of the pose. Yeah, we're opening our hips. We're lengthening our spine. One more round of breath. Nice long inhale. Exhale. Planting those palms, hips reach up. Heel till those feet back together. Hands come to shins flat back. Exhale, plant the palms and step back. Plank pose. Nice job. This time we're going to lift that left foot and bring that left knee into the chest. Core plank. And step back. This time left knee, left elbow. And back. And one more time. Left knee, left elbow. Stepping up. So that left foot comes to the outside of that left hand. Dropping that right knee down. Uncurling those toes. And then taking whatever variation that you took on the other side. So if you stayed on your hands, stay on your hands. Down to elbows, up on blocks. Whichever modification you chose. Or whichever. And then if you would like, you can come to the outside of that left foot. Just sinking down here. Really feeling those hips. They always say the pose that you like the least is the one that your body needs the most. And that pose, this is one of those poses for me. And coming back to that foot if you were there. Up, and then just making your way to that low lunge. Right, coming to that low lunge. And then we're going to come into that standing split on the other side. So our weight's this time coming to our left foot, our right foot. Again, if you have to hop it in. And then that right leg lifts. You can have a bend in that left knee. Just keeping those hips square. Gaze at those toes. And right foot meets left at the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold. And one more time, taking that squat pose. So I'll do it sideways this time, just for a different visual. So toes are pointed out, heels pointed in, hips sink down, coming to that squat. So if you want to just stay in a squat, you can do that here. Try not to just dump into the hips, but really keeping everything active. Or again, feel free to sit on one of those blocks because it's the same stretch. You're still opening those hips and lengthening that spine. Two more rounds of breath. Exhale the hands down and just make your way to that tabletop. Just want to check, see where we are. Good. And then come into a nice gentle child's pose for a few minutes here. Not a few minutes, a few moments. And walk those hands to the right side of your mat. Just a gentle side body stretch. And walk them back to center. And then walk your hands to the left side of your mat. Back to center. And then walk your hands towards your knees. So you're sitting on those knees. And then just make your way to a comfortable seat on your mat yet again. Okay. So as we were doing hips today, first we're going to come into a half a lotus. So if this is something that your body's like, no way, I'm not doing that, that's okay. You can just sit like this with your legs crisscrossed. But if you'd like to come, here's my mouth, come into that half lotus, I'm going to start with my left. You're going to bring it up and bring that foot so it rests on the inside of that knee. Okay, so a full lotus, the other foot would also come on the outside and into that knee crease, right? So I'm just doing a half lotus here. So you should feel the stretch in the outside of that left hip here. Good. And then bring your right hand to that left knee and gently open. Little twist here. Right, the crown is reaching up as we twist, keeping our spine nice and long. Good, coming back to the center. And then we're going to make, I don't know what this is officially called, but I always call it the baby in the cradle pose. So that left foot that's on there, we're going to take our left arm to the around our knee, right? So we're hugging our knee. And our right hand, if possible, your foot is going to step into that right elbow crease. So it's like you're cradling your leg, right? So just pulling that in, feeling that hip. You can feel free to rock your leg back and forth if you want to. Good. And just gently release. Lengthen those legs out long. Good. And then just feel the difference in the both hips here. So you've only done one side, right? Arms reach up. Exhale, hinging forward, grabbing towards those toes, keeping our spine nice and long. Good, and coming back. And then come back to that crisscross. Except we're going to take our half lotus on the other side. So this time, keeping that left knee just bent, we're going to take that right foot and bring it to that left knee crease. Good. Good. And again, if this is not comfortable, you can just sit in that crisscross position. And our left arm's going to come to that right knee and gently twist open. And coming back to center. And again, taking that cradle, baby cradle pose on this side. So, right knee comes into that right elbow. And that right foot comes into that left elbow crease. Yes. And if you can't do that, you can always just grab it this way as well. And you could rock side to side, feeling that hip here. Just 2 more rounds of breath. And gently releasing, both legs stretching out long. Good. Arms reach up and over, and again, hinging forward. Really pulling that belly button in and up, hollowing out your belly here, lengthening the spine. And coming back to sit. And now we are going to make our way onto our spine. So you can bring a block or 2 with you if you would like. And slowly lower to your back. Perfect. And we're going to come into first a bridge pose. So feet are planted on the ground, heels as close to the hips as they can reach. Some people can reach their heels with their hands. I cannot do that. I blame my short arms. And then we're going to push into our hands and our feet and reach our hips up towards the ceiling. You can shimmy those shoulders together and maybe interlock the hands below your spine here. Reaching those hips up. Knees reaching forward, hips reaching up. And just breathing here. Releasing your grip, lowering down. Walking the feet to the outside of the mat. And just knocking those knees together. About mid-body. Good. Setting up one more time. You can do another bridge just as we did. If you have a wheel, you can go into a wheel. Or, like I'm going to do, is you can do a supported bridge. So I'm going to take a block, lift my hips and place the block under my hips, and then just rest my hips down on the block. And this is supported, so it's a little bit more restorative, but I also feel like it gives my hips a chance to sort of release a little bit here that they don't normally get. And if you would like, you can straighten those legs out if that is comfortable. You can come down from your bridge whenever you're ready. You're in a supported bridge. You can walk your feet back, lift, remove that block. This time, bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees splay open. Good. Just letting those hips gently open here. Knees working towards the floor. Just using the body weight. There's no pressure from anywhere. They're just relaxing down. Perfect. Bring those knees together and grab a block if you would like. If you have a wall, you can use a wall as well. You can just put your feet, push your bum up to the wall and put your legs straight up the wall. That's totally fine. It does the exact same thing. Or you can use a block to push into those feet again and place that block right under your sacrum, right? That lower back. And then reach the feet up towards the ceiling. Good. Just let the arms rest by the sides. Maybe roll your ankles one way and then the other. Giving our feet a break. Letting all that blood flow back through our body. This is also a great pose if you wear heels all day or on your feet a lot, right? Really helps alleviate that pain in your feet. Someday when I go back to work, my feet are not going to be happy to wear regular shoes. And when you're ready, lowering those feet, pushing in to the feet to remove the block. And taking one more pose, or whatever poses you need here before coming into our Shavasana. So one of my favorite poses, which I'm going to demonstrate right now, is plow, which is not everyone's favorite. So this is not a pose that you like. You do not have to do this. But if you would like to take a happy baby instead, you can take a happy baby, grabbing the outsides of the feet. If you'd like to try a plow, your feet come up like they just were in that waterfall pose. You push into your hands, and your feet reach up and back. Good. Being careful of the neck. You're really resting on the shoulders and not on your neck here. Your toes can touch the floor behind you. They don't have to. Good. You can even begin to work on a shoulder stand here. And slowly coming down. And when you're ready, making your way into your final resting pose of Shavasana. Legs can stretch down the mat. If you wanted a blanket or your socks, I'm putting my socks back on, feel free to do that right now. Just make yourself comfortable. Lay down and relax. And just let the breath guide you here. Relaxing the body. Releasing any tension from your facial muscles. Unclenching your jaw. Melting into the floor. And I'm just going to read this quote by Charles Dickens. It's from Oliver Twist. And it kind of goes with our sun theme today. The sun, the bright sun that brings back not light alone, but new life and hope and freshness to man, burst upon the crowded city in clear and radiant glory. Through costly colored glass and paper-mended window, through cathedral dome and rotten crevice, it shed its equal ray. So just knowing that sun, no matter what, will rise and set every day for everyone. So no matter how hard a day is, the sun will always set on that day and rise again on a nice, brand new day with new hope, maybe new perspective. Taking just a couple more breaths here. Slowly bringing life back into the body. Maybe you wiggle your fingers and toes. Pull the knees in towards your chest and roll to one side of your body. Letting go of what doesn't serve us. Making space for the new, for the light, for the sun, for hope. And when you're ready, making your way to a seated position on your mat, keeping the gaze down or eyes closed. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale to heart center. Good. Take one more deep inhale. Open the mouth and let it go. Good. One more time. Inhale. And sigh it out. Bring those thumbs to your third eye, forehead center. The light and love in me honors and bows to the light and love in you. Namaste. Thank you all for coming tonight or for watching. And I am here every Tuesday at 6 and Fridays at 6 for kids yoga. So hopefully I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.